right, we're back again. This is Gab with Gab, and I got my co-host Richard Carrington. How you doing, bud?
Oh man, great. Glad to be back at it.
Yeah, man, and we got the guilty verdict, man.
Yeah.
Guilty on all three.
Yes.
You know, what do you think about that?
Oh man, I was excited.
Yeah.
I was watching, people and all across the country, and they were talking about, people were excited, but they were still, had this uneasy feeling. I don't know about you, but I still got kind of an uneasy feeling about the sentencing.
Yeah, me too. I didn't think that he was going to get guilty on all three. I figured maybe one.
Right.
But all three, I was like, man, and they knew too, because it didn't take but 11 hours, right?
Right.
So they knew, man, and it was the right one.
It was
the right one because he had a lot of things against him, and there was nothing else that they could have done but found him guilty, man.
Yeah.
Because everything that was shown on TV, everything was shown to the jury, everything was shown to everybody else out here in the world was
right.
saying, and people looked at that, and a lot of people don't know that whole George Floyd thing that went viral.
Yeah.
He's all over the world. I mean,
yeah.
Afghanistan, UK,
yeah.
Pakistan, and everybody's all about I can't breathe, and they got his picture and stuff like that. And it was a wonderful thing, man, wonderful thing. And that was the right thing.
Yeah.
That was the right thing.
You're right, man, because like you said, the world was looking, and they were going to see how we were going to treat this brother who got killed. What was the United States going to do? Were they going to, because this was an indictment on the whole country. It wasn't just Minneapolis. It was the whole country. People were looking, and they were going to say, okay, this is how they continue to treat black people in the United States.
Right. And that was one step, man. So I told my girl when I was talking to her, I said, this is one step, but we still got to keep fighting.
Yes.
Because not only that, something happened right after that with the guy. He got killed. The Dante, what's his name?
Yeah, right.
Dante Wright got killed, and it's another thing, man. And here we go again, the police again.
Yeah.
And what she did in the Dante Wright's case, that was a terrible mistake.
Yeah.
Fatal mistake.
Yeah.
And her being, 20-some years on the force, nah, man, that's not acceptable to me, I don't think.
I know. Well, that's when she said that she thought she had her taser.
For the taser, come on, man. For I mean, number one, a taser is way different from an actual revolver.
Right.
The pistol grip is different.
Right.
And for her to do something like that, man, it's fatal. It's fatal. And a lot of people don't understand that stuff like that is exactly what we're fighting for.
Yes.
And we're gonna keep on fighting.
Yes.
Because we can't be silent anymore, Rich.
No, we can't.
We can't be silent anymore. We have to let them know that, hey, we're human beings too.
Yes.
We're not dogs, we're not robots, or we're not pieces of furniture.
Right.
We black folk that's out here trying to make a living just like the next person.
Right. And you just can't do anything you want to us.
Right.
And it's a lot of the young people are stepping up too, man. The young people are like, we're not having this.
Of course,
they're
man.
like, we're not having this. And young people from all races, which is good because some of the older people, man, they're set in their ways.
Right.
And I'm telling you, man, I listen to talk radio, and they still saying, if he would have listened, if that boy would have behaved, he wouldn't be dead. And then there was one, my wife was telling me about a situation she heard on TV where they were saying, I think it was in New Bedford, they said, you see the way that Chauvin obeyed and put his hands behind his back, if Floyd had done that, he wouldn't be dead now.
Nah,
So I mean, it's still in there. Like
right.
People I don't know, people just can't accept the fact that this happens to black people all the time with police, or they think this is just a one-off thing. But a lot of society doesn't believe that. First of all, that Chauvin should have been convicted.
Number one,
because they just don't see the police doing that. But it's amazing, man.
It is, and everybody, keep your cameras, keep your phones going, because we're gonna let the world know, and we're gonna show the world what's been done to us, and what's still been going on. And it's been going on. It ain't just stopped. It ain't started. It's been going on 400 years. Right. From the 60s on up to now, and they still doing it, Rich. They still doing it. So why not show everybody that this is no joke? We're not doing anything wrong. We're just being law-abiding citizens and going about what we're supposed to be doing, and they get hunted down and killed like dogs. That's not right.
No, it's not. Things have to change, man.
Right, and regardless of what George Floyd was doing as far as his character, that particular day, he didn't deserve to die.
No.
Nobody deserved to die.
No.
You know, and then for them, so what I want them to the whole world believe the iPhone thing.
Right.
You know, did they believe that?
Right.
You know, that was him.
Right.
That what happened, and that was a video footage. It happened from start to finish.
Yeah.
And it was a shame.
It really
was a shame.
Because I remember, you know, when we were talking about the first night of the trial, remember you were talking about how they were trying to mess up his name and talk about what he had done and the drugs he had in him.
Trying to slander his character.
They were trying to, and it didn't work.
Nope.
It didn't work.
Because
the jury was smart.
Right, and I was glad of that too, because when it came down to it, the evidence was right there in front of their face.
Yeah.
It didn't take them long.
No.
It didn't take them long. It was right there, and there was no way the defense could come up with anything.
Yeah.
It didn't have nothing.
Right.
So they would start reaching, grabbing straws. So they wanted to destroy his character and things like that. And the thing that was peculiar to me, the defense was saying a reasonable police officer would have did the same thing.
Right.
So what you're telling me, the average police would have did that, and if that's the case, man, we got problems.
I'm serious.
We got problems. If the average police, a reasonable police officer would have did that, we have problems.
That's crazy.
And they wonder why we want to defund the police.
Exactly. And I think they said that he was training somebody too, right?
He was, and that's crazy.
That?
Yeah. And the guy that he was training were the actual officers that was on the scene.
Right.
So when he came, I think with his energy and everything like that, he took over the scene. Yeah. He was the senior officer. Yeah. So he just took over and did what he had to do. But then those guys just stood there and let him do that. Yeah. And let me let you know, they gonna be on trial next. Yeah. And they gonna do some time too.
They need
because they were there and sat there and did nothing. Nothing.
It's incredible, man.
You know?
You still can't believe it. And what I didn't realize, and my wife was telling me earlier too, was that after he was still on his neck after he had expired, after he had died.
Yeah.
He was still on his neck another 3 minutes. Or
yes, Rich. And it's awful. You don't do a dog like that.
Man.
And then you have other people chiming in, like you heard Brett Favre, right?
Yeah.
He just don't. From a lot of people, cut him loose and start messing with him like that.
Yeah, I did a
Brett
long time ago.
Me too, because he a Mississippi boy, and you know who he dealing with.
Yep.
So Brett Favre just don't understand. And you can't. How you just going to say that man didn't mean to do that and this and that and the other? That's not even the point. Right. The point is he should have been in that situation. Right. Now, like I told you before, Rich, I talked about different things like things that happened before he got killed.
Right.
He walked into the store. Mm-hmm. Okay, they showed the footage. He was just doing what he needed to do. Yeah. Now, okay, they say he passed a counterfeit $20 bill. Right. You can't say that he knew that was a counterfeit.
Exactly.
You cannot say that.
Right.
So, like I told you before, and I know I said it before to everybody else, when a person dealing with a counterfeit money or any bill, you need to take that money from that individual, put it out of service, out of circulation, and give him a receipt for it. So the police didn't have nothing to do with that. That's a federal thing. You need to get in touch with people, the federal people, and say, hey, this bill was passed in my store. Right. You can't say this guy was making counterfeit because you can't prove that. Right. He might not have known that.
Exactly.
So, like I said, he still shouldn't have went to jail. Right. Now, let's go back to the fact that the clerk, he had the $20 bill, right? Mm-hmm. He looked at it, and I guess he figured it out that it wasn't real, so he told his boss, and I guess they called the police. Okay, if that's what you're going to do, that's fine. But even the police didn't do what they're supposed to do. Right. Hey, they should just took the money from him. That's not a crime. Right. Because he didn't know. Right. So you can't charge this man with a crime for something he didn't know. Right. I can see if he said to you, yeah, this is a counterfeit bill, I'm making these. Right. Then that's something different. Right. But you automatically jumped on his back and tried to arrest him for something that you didn't even know about. Right.
Because I can go into the supermarket tomorrow with a $100 bill, and and then they give me the change, and they give me a fake 20,
right?
Counterfeit 20,
exactly.
And then I go to the other store and then use it. I don't know.
Right.
I'm the victim. So he could have been the victim.
Exactly, bro. That's what I'm saying. So, so you can't just say he was around here doing this for a living or something like that.
It's just dirty all the way around.
It was.
And everybody that has a part of it needs to be punished.
You're right.
To the fullest extent.
You're right.
You know, and I was talking to my son, my youngest son, he's 16, and he was like, he was so happy, because only being here 16 years, he's seen so much happen to black men.
Yeah.
Exactly. That I didn't even realize how affected he was. And he's like, Dad, I hope they get him when he's in jail.
Oh,
I hope they get him. I said, they're going to get him.
And it's sad for people to think like that.
Yeah.
But it's terrible, it's almost like an eye for an eye.
Yeah.
He did what he needed to do. Now he needs to pay the consequences.
He's got to pay it.
Now as far as that's concerned with your son, Rich, what have you been telling him about what he should do whenever he gets stopped by the police, and let everybody else know?
Yeah, well, see, man, it's a trip because he's working on getting his license now, and that's, I'm like, you see how I drive, you see how you got to follow the rules of the road. You get pulled over, you got to do, no matter how they are, you got to do the yes sir, no sir. If it gets too out of hand, then you just get the badge number and you keep your mouth shut. Because you got to get home, because these people will shoot you, they'll kill you.
That's
and he's a big kid, big strong kid, and but he's not aggressive. But they see us as a threat no matter what size we are.
Oh yeah.
So I talk to him about that, and I talk to all young men, and I tell them, look, man, it's not a time to be arguing or challenging authority. There's avenues and there's venues to challenge authority, but you don't do it out on the street or when they're pulling you over for some any reason.
Exactly.
You got to follow what they say at that point, and then you go later and deal with it. But you got to tell your son. It's amazing that it's crazy that you still have to tell him that.
Yeah.
The same thing that my mom told me. 35 years ago, I got to tell my son, and it's worse now. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because back then they beat you up, but now they kill you.
Oh yeah. And I'm glad you put it out there like that, man. And not only should we do that with our kids, but everybody should be doing that.
Yeah.
Because I think it was a misconception before, as to the point of somebody was I guess something was put out there, and to the fact that you should try to challenge a police officer out there, right there on the scene at that time. That's a big no-no.
Yeah.
Because when people were doing that, people were getting killed.
Yeah.
So, you need to, you can stop, like you say, yes sir, no sir, 10 and 2, put your hand on the steering wheel, and if you feel like as though you've been done unjust, you need to get the officer's badge if you can, and live to see another day. Right. File a complaint afterwards and say, hey, this is what happened to me during this particular day, during this time, so on and so forth. Because you never know, the officer might be having a bad day or something.
Exactly.
And it's just not the time to.
They'll take it out on you.
Exactly.
Because, man, I'm going to tell you, like a couple of years ago, man, I got pulled over. I was speeding. And I was speeding. So when he pulled me over and said, you know why I pulled you over? I said, yeah, I think I was going a little fast. I was trying to get to work.
Right.
And he said, okay, he was real cool, but like you said, I had my hands there. And he said, your license and registration. I said, if I move, it's in the glove box. I'm on,
Yeah.
And he was like, kind of taken aback. He thought I was trying to be funny, but I'm like, nah, man, I don't know what you're going to do.
Exactly.
So if you tell me I can go get my registration and I'm going to reach in my pocket.
Right.
And all I got is a wallet with my license.
You're right, Rich.
And I went through that like that. And, some people might say, well, why you going through all that? Because I want to live to another day.
Exactly.
Because I know that all they need is an excuse.
And you want to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Yep.
That let him do his job and let him know, hey, I'm reaching in for my credentials. I'm showing him I'm not doing nothing quick and fast. I don't have a pistol.
I don't have no weapons. I went through the whole thing.
Relax.
And it was funny because he was like laughing. He was like, "Hey man, it's cool." I'm like,
"No, it ain't cool."
No, because he, I think, and he ended up giving me a warning because he saw how I viewed them.
Yeah.
And I didn't trust him at all.
Right.
And so I ended up getting a warning. And like I said, I was wrong because I was speeding.
Of course.
But I didn't deserve to get shot or something because
right.
I wasn't
and I'm glad that
I wasn't
going
to challenge him.
Right.
even if I wasn't speeding, I wasn't going to challenge.
No.
Because you don't win, man. And you know, just think, if that young lady hadn't took that film of Floyd, hadn't took her camera of him, they would have got off.
A lot of people said that he would have got away.
He would have, man. He would have.
Because even though he had his camera on, his what you call it, body camera, a lot of times they get lost and get erased. You know what I'm saying? So and they have different avenues for that. Right. And you know, dealing with the police and the federal order of police, and they have unions. They backing these guys. But now, what did the president say? He put out that law, and that's only like a few states, but it's still a law saying that now you can sue the actual police officer because if they do anything of wrongdoing, they just like any other person, and they should be. They shouldn't be above the law. Right. But most people that would do something like that or have that authority and know about it, they're going to abuse it. I mean, I hate to say that, but most people will abuse it.
Yeah, man, it's amazing, man. You know, I don't know. I just think that, you know, we're living in some difficult times, and there's so much going on, man. You would think that, you know, the police will slow down a little bit, but I think a lot of them are angry at what happened to Chauvin.
I think so too.
So what does that mean? They're going to take it out on us, you know?
Once again, they need to look at that as a learning experience. Because I just think for myself, man, that police need to just go back to the drawing board as far as how they communicate with people in the community, communicate with civilians out here. You can't just come out here guns blazing. You have to be able to think, react. You have to be a negotiator, because a lot of times you got to talk to people. You can't just have your gun drawn. Right. And another situation happened with the girl in Ohio. Although she had a knife, and I get it. I get it. But the police wasn't in no threat. She was threatening somebody else. And for what I understand, in a situation like that, a police officer has the right to use bodily force. But the killer person, really, maybe shoot her one time. You know, was that whole situation like that? To the point where this woman was like a maniac. You know, and what about why you couldn't tase her? You know, she had a knife. Now, they're saying that he was justified for killing her because she might have killed the young lady. Right. I don't know, man. I just don't know. It's hard. It's hard.
They find reasons to justify.
You're right.
And it's sad that you would think that, man, but they find reasons to kill people, man.
Right. And then what if they would have subdued this lady, and if she attacked the other lady like she did, or even if she stabbed her, if the lady didn't die, then this lady need to be locked up for assault and stabbing somebody. Now you're doing your job. You stopped the crime. You stopped what was going on. You found out who the culprit was. You found out who the victim was. She had a knife, a weapon. She stabbed this person. The person need to go to the hospital. But you going to jail. Now, I don't have no problem with that, because you're doing what you're supposed to do. But to just arbitrarily kill this person because of what? This person jumped on another person? See, that's stuff that we don't know. But it may be a law stating that. You know,
the use of deadly force. You know.
Did you hear about that?
Well, yeah, I heard about the case, and you know, I'm kind of mixed on it, man, because I'm thinking that if that was, you know, I don't think she deserved to die. Right. But I think they could have shot her. You know, shot her in the leg, like you said, or whatever. Yeah. Or tased her. They can tase people and stop them. You know. Right. Because if they hit you with that taser, you're gonna freeze.
Exactly. You know? And see that, and that's another thing. Well, they could have used something else, but they chose to use the pistol. You know. They chose to use the gun. You know, you need to, when you're a police officer, you come out, you have different things on your backpack or on your belt that you can use. You know, and then the deadly force is the last result.
Yeah, that should be the last result.
And they don't, and they don't think. That's what I think. Police don't think, man.
They don't, man. You know? And they don't value our lives, man. You know, and we're always a threat. They don't value us, and you know, they don't see a problem with killing us, man. And that's a scary thing.
It is. It is
a scary thing.
It's definitely scary.
That they can just, they don't have a problem, because when it happens to white folks, they're talking them down. They're they're saying they had bad days.
Of course.
They're just saying, okay, you know, because if a black kid and a white kid pull a gun on a cop, 99% of the time they're gonna kill the black kid, and they're gonna reason with
the white kid.
Yeah,
and it's sad, and we see it on TV, just like something happened the other day. They was reasoning with the guy. He I think he went postal on something. Yeah. And they reasoning with him when he went in that grocery store. Yeah, man. If that was a black person, they'd have killed him right outside. Yep. So, and so what made them think they can treat us like that, man? What is it? What is it that, I mean, is it something out there secretly passed out the police saying when you come in contact with a black person, you need to kill him? Is that what's going on? I'm trying to understand it. I'm trying to understand.
I think, man, it's just historical, man. It's been this way that, you know, we're seen as aggressors and dangerous people, and you know, our lives don't matter as much to them, you know, in society, you know. So
we're seen as aggressive people, but yet we don't have a gun,
right?
But we getting killed, right? So who's the aggressor? Who's the aggressor, Rich?
Because it's all these times they've been getting killed. Like you said, there's been no weapons.
Right.
You know,
if that's the case,
or they say, "Oh, my phone looked like a gun," or my wallet looked like a gun.
Or I had a soda.
Yeah.
It looked like something he had a. Come on, man. Come on,
man.
I'm getting fed up with it, man. I'm just really getting sick and tired because it's the same old song and dance.
I mean, I think that this administration might help a little bit, but it's going to take society saying, like, you remember when the George Floyd thing originally started, you know, when the white folks saw it on TV, they were like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And then they would join in Black Lives Matter.
And it's some good ones out here too, because they see right, wrong.
They were
see
like,
it.
This happens, you know, excuse me.
Yeah.
And they were like, you know, this happens to people. They couldn't believe it, man. And you know, I was talking to some of my white friends. They were like, "Wow, that's crazy." And what can we do? And they, you know, of course, Black Lives Matter has some politics, but they were out there, man. And they were protesting. And they were standing, and that gave it a big push.
Right.
And they said, "Wow, this happens because they don't have to have those talks with their children.
You're right.
With their sons.
You're right.
Their son, you're in America. This is your country. You can do whatever you want."
Exactly.
And they'll challenge the cops. And won't anything happen to them?
Well, let us challenge them. We'll get slapped in the face.
Yeah, man.
But once again, history. Yeah. I always say, Rich, if you want to know where you're going, you got to know where you came from.
Absolutely.
So we go back to 1960, and the cops doing the same thing, and they getting away with it.
Sicking dogs on us.
Right. You know, and no cameras then at that time, and probably things were probably worse then. Yeah. You know. And at that time, they had freedom marches. They had white and black individuals. They were marching with Martin Luther King and everybody else. And they knew it back then, sitting at the lunch line, lunch counters and stuff like that. And they were with us. Yeah. And a couple of them got killed too. Yeah. You know, but still we stood and we kept pushing and kept pushing. Yeah. Because if you don't stand for something, you're gonna fall for anything.
That's right.
That's why I always say.
Yeah, man. That's right.
And play it forward.
Yes.
2021. We still
going through this, man.
We still going through. You know, when we gonna get a break, Rich?
Gotta get one soon.
Yeah. And I don't understand it. So the only thing we can do is just to keep talking, keep putting it out there. Yes. This is why I got my podcast for. You and I are here to let people know that we have a ear. People are listening and people are doing things about what's going on. Right. And we're not gonna forget it. And I'm always on the beat about things that's going on here in the community with our folk. And I mean, black and white.
That's right.
You know, because I care about all colors. I just want everybody to just get along.
Because the reality is we're all in it together. So.
Yeah. And I'm glad President Biden spoke up and somebody had started feeling some kind of way about that. Right. But that man was telling the truth.
Yes, he was.
He was telling the truth. Good. I'm glad it was a guilty verdict because that was wrong. Yeah. So why he can't speak his mind?
Right.
And he the president of the United States.
Exactly. So,
you know, it was wrong. Yeah. Dead wrong. You know, but like I said, we still got some work to do.
Yeah.
We still got some work to do, and we just gotta just keep our nose to the grindstone and keep it going, man. Because if we don't tell these young kids or show these young kids that we behind them and things like that, they might look at it. We don't have a leg to stand on.
Yeah.
You know, and we don't have any big time figures in the talk. You know.
Right.
For us anymore, so we can do it ourselves.
We have to, man. And we have the platforms. So
and it's all the platform, the social media.
Yeah.
You know, and I thank you guys for checking out my podcast and everything like that. And I'm bringing it to you the truth.
That's it.
You know, got anything else to say, Big Rich?
Man, I think this is well-needed conversation.
Oh yeah. And we'll be back once again, and you'll see me next week. And once again, you know, when you see me on YouTube, you subscribe and push that button to like.
Yes.
And once again, we out of here.
Thank you.